All right, we'll go ahead and get started. 1, 2, 1, 2. Everybody should be able to see my screen clear. So we're gonna get started with today's session. I want to pull up MicroStrategy on this side. So MicroStrategy pulled down. Also start with the S&P 500 as well too. So pretty much the script for this week. We're looking to see, do we get a test back to these all-time highs on the SPY? If not, I think we pull back down, in my opinion. If we're not getting above 698, then I think it's easy for us to pull right back here to the downside. So if you're looking on the S&P 500, I want you to take from Thursday to February 5th low. Either one or two things are going to happen. You're going to see a sideways move here on Friday the 6th, 7th, Friday the 6th, and here on the 9th. We'll start to form either a bull flag and break above 691, or you're going to break here to the downside and we drop underneath 688. So watching this break here early underneath 688 is where my attention is. So those are my thoughts at this time on this specific position. So MicroStrategy, potentially watch it get underneath 120 again. So on the downside action on MicroStrategy 120. Hims and hers down 22%. We already know that. It's down to $16, just hit 16. Also, we still are in Netflix puts. Just to reemphasize that, we have not moved out of Netflix puts. So we still are in those. You're looking for Netflix to start trickling down to 77 and 74. So those are my thoughts on on NFLX. So we still are currently in Netflix puts. What I do see happening as well, yeah, MicroStrategy, just covered them, but MU, I would be watching ticker MU and take them to the 4-hour time frame. MU is forming a bear flag right now. So as you guys know, MU's been moving pretty much to the upside since last September. But you have a bear flag pattern, so I'll be careful on a break underneath 364 this week. I think you can see a move down to about 350. So on the bear side for MU, looks like we might get a breakdown to about $350. So a break underneath, once again, 362 should take you down to 351. So you have a bear flat pattern. Stock is down about 5% today. So looking at more so a profit taking there. So on Micron Technologies. So still in Netflix right now. Micron, look for a $20 to $30 move here on the downside. I want to cover next. Ticker Tesla. Same thing. So you're seeing a pattern of lower lows being made from last week and now lower highs being formed afterwards. So you got lower lows and lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. You see that pattern pretty much continue to develop. So lower lows, lower highs, higher highs, and higher lows. That is what you need to see on the upside for a higher high continuation. But lower lows and lower highs have continued to be formed. So Tesla back underneath 400 is likely to go down to about 394. So underneath there, you'll see a break to the downside. So that's my thoughts on ticker TSLA. MicroStrategy's down 7. Some people have asked me about Palantir. So just hang tight in those Netflix puts for now. Some people have asked me about ticker PLTR. Same thing, right? Lower low now followed by a lower high. So if you can see a rejection here at $140, it's likely that we see a move back below 135. So the theme kind of really for this week, I think at least the first day, today and tomorrow, will probably more so be potentially a little bit flat or slightly bullish. And then as we have some of these earnings that end up coming out by Wednesday, I think we'll start to see the tide turn. All right, once we get Robinhood, Astria Labs, Shopify, some of these out the way, by Wednesday, Thursday, you should start to see a little bit of profits continue to be taken off the board. So BTC down about 2,500 here this morning. Now you also have to watch out here for the Qs. We're currently at 607. Your levels on the QQQ, same thing that I was kind of saying here on the S&P 500. It could be possible that we just trade sideways, creating a flag pattern, a bull flag, and then we could, on the short term, break out to about 613. Right? Anything underneath 602 will push us back down to about 596. So that's where we're at on most particular stocks right now, seeing kind of a flat open, right? So we are seeing a flat open. NVO is up about 3% today. Well, $3 is up about 6%. So they're back to about $50. I did post a couple things yesterday that I want to touch on. First thing I want to talk about is TGT. So Target right now, if you're looking here on this weekly time frame, started to look like now. Target doesn't have earnings until March, by the way, Tuesday, March 10th. So if we can see TGT actually push upward, that'd be perfect for us. Target right now, need to see a break back over $118. They have earnings, like I said, coming up there here soon. So if we could see a breakout further, that'd be perfect. You know, earnings obviously right around the corner for us. So we'll be looking at that as a potential catalyst as well, turnaround story. But also you have DG, General Corp, still stuck within. Just want to provide some update on DG. What you see going on here, go to the daily. Same thing. A little bit of consolidation right now in Dollar General Corp. So still the targets remain for this year, 163 and as well 179, 180. So we are still looking for Dollar General Corp to end up going to those levels. So just waiting to see a massive major breakout next there. That's my thoughts on this name at this time. So Dollar General, DG, TGT, both tickers within similar sectors. You should see a rally and a move upward to the upside on both names. So those are my thoughts on DG and as well TGT. So once again, lower lows and lower highs. So right now you are going to probably see a little bit of a push from the market. I want to go to MSFT. Like to see, so pretty much you made a V shape from Thursday's drop, rallied back up all the way about 20 points, filling this all the way to 409. All right. QQQ. Pull up on this side real quick. You'll see the same candle here on the Qs. All right. So now if we get that break over 610, go back to about 613, 615 area. Mm-mm-mm. Nvidia just hit 190 bucks. Looks like NVDA. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. So also I did post that note. Just I want to highlight this real quick. So if there's someone reaching out to you about Signal Sync, that is a scam. Um, yeah, the only official way to contact me is my direct number. So I just want to make sure that I say that on the Zoom here again. I've posted it in the chat. I've said it on a few different Zooms. So I just want to make sure that that's known. Um, so yeah, if you can report those spam pages, please do that for me so we can get those removed as quick as possible. I have gotten a couple of them removed. So just my thoughts on that. So yeah, just wanted to. I did post it a few times here, so I just wanted to make those notes. You can catch this recording if you have to step out. You can catch this recording right here, um, in this Menti Zoom recording channel. So just a couple of things that I wanted to highlight. Also, Friday, February 20th, which is not this Friday, but next Friday, I did open up 20 more slots. The event sold out within the first time, within 2 hours. So I think the 20 slots within, I think 15 of them are already gone before I even came back on the Zoom. So it's like, yeah, that was at 8:20 I posted. So if you haven't gotten registered for the DC event, I would definitely encourage you to do so. This will be the last time that I can open up more space. So just those couple things. Make sure you pay attention, report that page. Do not follow this link, etc. Only communicate with me directly through here, that line. So yeah, just a couple of announcements I just wanted to make on that. So appreciate everybody. Back to business. All right. You are going to hear from, of course, Robinhood this week. Shout out to TSM real quick. They just made a new 52-week high. Shout out to them there. So pull up Robinhood, the spies at 691. So Robinhood, same thing. Probably see a break as well back to the upside on Hood. Here on the up and up. Robinhood, like I said, reports is going to go ahead and report here on the 20. What day is that? Not the 20, on the 10th, excuse me, tomorrow after hours. So tomorrow after hours, Robinhood will go ahead and report. It will report after hours tomorrow. So stay ready for that. Robinhood. My thoughts on the report, and some people have asked me, I guess, as far as like pricing wise, where they're looking to get in Robinhood. The prices really remain the same, as far as particularly Robinhood. That hasn't changed at all. Uh, we've told people you want to get it between $50 to $70. So let's see how they report and what those numbers look like when they do come out. Um, would love to have an opportunity to be able to get Robinhood at at a low point. See if we can get Robinhood down lower. You got the Qs here, 610, just hit that. So we love still the opportunity to get Robinhood in between 50 to 70 bucks. Just my thoughts in that regard. Next one is Coin, which Coinbase obviously has earnings this week. So we're going to probably steer clear of trading them beforehand, but post earnings, definitely. I think we're likely to see Coinbase continue downward post earnings. So I would wait until Friday. We're going to look and examine Friday or even next Monday. But I still think obviously Bitcoin has a move to the downside left. So Coinbase, some people have thought, at the $140 point, some people were asking me, hey, do I still continue to expect it to come downward? And the answer is yes. I don't think that we're done falling quite yet. So I do anticipate that we do see more of a move here on the downside on particularly Coinbase. So we'll watch this thing as it slides here, potentially back down. A break below 140 would be a lower low. So notice the common theme, once again, lower lows and then lower highs. So after usual major sell weeks like we saw last week, like last week was a pretty major sell week, you're usually always going to have that followed up by aggressive amount of buying. So it should be really no surprise. That's why I said jumping into puts early this week will probably get you burned. So I would refrain from really taking any puts right now on any of these companies that drop drastically. Like we said, we're still in Netflix because the setup is still there. If you notice, Netflix didn't really partake last week in the drop like that. I mean, it came down a few points, but nothing really too much. So we're looking for Netflix still to come downward, but that's, one isolated position that obviously we do have some time on. So it's just really about being vigilant and patient, and allowing things to actually set up and come to you the right way. So that was the biggest stress point that I wanted to make clear for people, just so you don't come out there and think that you have to force a position early on, and paying attention to the indices. Anytime you're trading, you should be paying attention to the S&P 500 and the QQQ. All right. So if both of these are looking like they're creating some form of a bull flag, it's going to be hard to see your individual stocks sometimes come down. So if we do get above this 691, like I said, the SPY is likely to move back upward a bit more. That would create an opportunity to go short. So right now we're stuck in a bullish pattern, short-term bullish pattern. That's why you see these names popping. Let's also highlight Oracle. I told you guys yesterday that Oracle will probably come up, right? 147 to this 155 area, 153 area. We actually got to 155. So that's perfect. Sets you up like you want to wait until stocks go upward to go short versus trying to short them already when they've dropped, 40 points. That doesn't really usually bode well. So you want to usually see them go up 20 points first before you're looking to essentially go short. So that's the good thing here about this name at this time. You saw a major pop. Now it's likely that we can probably see potentially a nice drop. So we'll wait on that on our indices. So Oracle popped $12. Could continue to push. Even if it went to 163, that'd be perfect. We'll try to see if it closes above this perfect opportunity to look to go short. So like I said, usually a large amount of selling is usually followed by a decent amount of buying. So we do see that here right now at this time. Questions. Only on the 20th. I'm only going to be on the 20th. Only going to be on the 20th. Correct. We're still holding. Yep. Only on the 20th. We're only going to be there on the 20th. So that's for particularly for that position. So yeah, we'll be there on the 20th. At first it was going to be the 18th, but yeah, that's pretty much that. JPM. Still want to see a move on JPM back above 330. Let's see. Hold on one second. I'm getting a couple of alerts. AMD just hit 213. 1 second. So, yeah. All right, so looks like we're getting a little bit of rejection here at this 610 right now, and as well on the S&P 500. Not quite breaking. So watch this 688 on its downside here on the SPY. So if we break underneath there, we're going to invalidate this bull flag. So you want to watch that. Let me go back to AMD now. So AMD pulled same thing that Oracle did, went up $20. So at 213, if we see a rejection here, this is a good spot to look to go short on this ticker. So you very well could see some downside movement here on potentially AMD. We could break back, 613 rejection. Looking at a move here on the downside on AMD. So it's likely that we could see a reject. Tesla just hit 414. So it's likely that we could see a rejection as well there. So you got Tesla. A lot of the stocks just hit key points, rejection areas. So gotta watch the Qs and its addition as well. The S&P. You can mark off your pre-market lows. So, which is at about 605. So a break underneath 605 on the Qs. Likely to see a move on the downside underneath that level. Remember, MU is still within a bear flag. I would not be surprised to see MU go to about 350 this week. Do not be surprised if you see it go to 350 underneath this 365. MU's kind of just range bound here. So don't be surprised if you see a pull back to 350. It is pretty volatile, so you got to be careful with that. NVIDIA did get back to about 191. They have earnings, which is still on the 25th. So NVIDIA's earnings is still a little bit of a distance away. So still a minute until they are going to report. Still got a good amount of distance away from that. But Strategy Inc. 130. Yeah, so I'm not kind of probably going to short MicroStrategy again until it probably gets back to like 140. That's kind of where I'm trying to see if they can pull up a little bit more before I look to go short on it. Palantir kind of right here at 140 bucks. I'm interested to see if we do see a move back to about 148. If you're looking on a 4-hour time frame, we could, like I said, if we close above here, we could take a move back to 148. I'm not looking to be aggressive on a short side just yet. I'm not looking to just hop into, puts right away early on in the week. So I'm just kind of being patient. And so definitely would want to make sure. Everyone, yeah, 139. Not unless we can get some key rejections. And stocks that have earnings this week, like Coinbase and Hood, right? I'm not really looking to short them at all until post report, even Shopify, which had a nice pullback. So Any of the stocks that I do feel a bit bearish on this week that do have earnings, I'm not going to really look at them on any trading until really probably post report. All right. So Robinhood, Shopify, Coinbase, those are three of the names, obviously, that we've been looking at on the downside and we've caught. I'm not going to go back to them on the short side until post report. I'm not going to swing any options through earnings on any of them either. So just to make that clear. Mm-mm-mm. Also, if you stay abreast of this channel, you are going to see exactly, particularly anytime. Like, so we gave, the targets on, for example, Netflix, Palantir, etc. Like anytime we have a position, make sure you take, you take a look at the targets, right? Write down each target, so right? Stock hits the position target, you know exactly where you're looking to get out at. So every target is pretty much predetermined, right? We predetermine our targets all the time. So I just wanted to make that clear for everyone that's listening here, so you guys know exactly what's going on. Every target is pretty much highlighted and crystal clear for everyone. Mm-mm. Obviously, same thing on OKLO, $14 rally, right? So you're seeing this once again, the same things happening: lower lows, lower highs, the pop, still stuck within the middle here on the Qs. So if you get a break, like I said, underneath 605, you'll come down, break back above 610, you'll go to 615. So we're heading towards that $10 to $15 zone on hims and hers. We talked about it over the past couple of weeks. Some people have been shorting hims and hers since $35. We originally took some put positions back then. We closed them out since then, even before this, but we were able to see this, obviously, this setup and break. But yeah, we're heading down towards the $10 to $15 mark. So that's what we're looking to go ahead to next. And yeah, hims and hers would be a great buy underneath $10, in my opinion. Underneath 10 would make would make some sense. It would make it worth the risk, right? Worth the risk. Is this a stock that I think you should get overexposed to? Definitely not. But I think it's worth the risk, less than $10, giving it a chance. So we have next one. UNH, UNHG. So roughly in between $5 to $7 for UNHG is a great spot to pick this thing up at. So in between 5 to 7 is a good spot for you to go ahead and grab this name at. So here, UNH, G, good spot. You do have UNHG. I think personally, UNH could still probably maybe drop down to about 240. So UNHG probably gives you the best, obviously easiest exposure into the name. So yeah, UNHG down there, pull back further at this time. AMD just hit 214, and they got Oracle up there to about 156. Yeah, so the game plan this week is to allow things to move back up first before looking for a short. So post that again in the chat so everybody can see. So to me, Monday and Tuesday are, if I could just summarize it, Monday and Tuesday are really just shaping up to be bullish. If that upside holds, then the broader market can keep pushing higher in the short term. That expected lower highs are going to start forming early in the week. So I expect kind of like at least two more upside days. First day being today, and second day obviously being tomorrow. So right now, I would refrain from taking really any shorts yet until we can see some clear rejections and then break. So I expect us to probably roll over by about like Wednesday. So by about Wednesday, if not Wednesday, then Thursday. So let some of these upside play out. Some of the stocks that you've been watching and looking at, those same levels that they broke under, they're likely to go back and revisit. So even like Palantir has a chance to probably go back maybe to about 148. You're noticing the Qs are here. So short term, next day or two here, upside moves, making those lower highs, which is then going to be followed by lower lows, right? So lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. So this week will be your lower highs probably on most of the weekly time frames are going to be formed. All right, like most of the weekly candles should make, up to a lower high. And like I said, by at least Wednesday, if not Thursday, you'll probably start to see the market roll back over just a little bit. Not saying we go and break those previous lows from last week, but you'll start to see a decline off of some of the weekly highs that end up getting made. So that's really my thoughts at this time. Stay locked in on Netflix if you're in with me. Other than that, sit tight, and you'll see any updates that come directly into the channel that lets you know what positions obviously we're looking at. Obviously, majority of the stocks that we were shorting last week, some of them for the most part, have earnings. One key thing to watch that MU very carefully and closely. I think MU, like I said, it go down to that 350 point quick. So keep your eyes peeled on it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this session as of now. You can set your alerts on some of those upside targets so you know what's happening. But yeah, we'll look for the Qs to go to 615, the SPY to go to 695. Yeah, that's pretty much that. VIX is subdued below 20 for now. So look good to go. So that's pretty much it. Do I think December MicroStrategy puts our reach? Yeah, I think at this time I wouldn't quite go that far out on them yet. I would allow honestly a lot of these things to come back up first before looking to take any short positions on them. So I would not jump in any shorts right now. I stick with Netflix just because of the overall setup on the chart. But some of those that drop drastically and have those high float will have the low float, high volume capabilities. I would refrain from shorting those names for right now. So yeah, That's just my thoughts. Like a name like, for example, CrowdStrike, right? I don't think it's going to go back to 375 quite yet. I still think we have more room probably to maybe retrace upward before dropping any lower. AMD is a good example, right? We just broke above the 213. We could probably push towards 220. So anytime you have that massive selling, it's probably going to be followed by a good bit of movement there on the upside. So just allow it to come back, and then we'll look at the short side after that.